Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call to order the April 5th, 2017 meeting of the Frederick County Planning Commission. We have, I would like for you to join us in a moment of silence before we get into our agenda, if you will, please. Thank you. We have a minor fix-em on the agenda, and you have a copy of what's correct in front of you, so use that, and what you'll immediately see is that we had skipped over a number for the items. So does that make any sense? Okay, we can all count that. All righty, could we adopt the agenda, please?
Madam Chairman, move we adopt the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed. Committee reports. I think for us, we have the Comp Plan Committee, and Mr. Gary is going to take that.
Yes, ma'am. We met on March 13th and had a meeting about the CIP, which we'll be looking at tonight. The Comp Plan Committee reviewed it and thought it was appropriate to forward on.
Thank you, sir. Okay, let's see, for the City of Winchester, Dr. Feo.
Yes, ma'am.
Tagnesi. John, it's
John Tagnesi.
John Tagnesi, not Dr.
Oh, you're
Feo.
John Tagnesi. Why did I think you were Dr. Feo?
All my life.
Kidding. I'm embarrassed.
No, it's okay. Unless you're an Italian.
No.
Anyway, we had a very short meeting in our planning commission. We had one CUP for converting a office building on Valley Avenue to mixed use. And we had a request for on North Loudon Street to convert an old gas station into a pizza shop. Those are the only two items we had.
Thank you, Chair, and I apologize. Mr. Blaine Dunn from the Board of Supervisors.
Madam Chairman, this report will even be shorter. The Board of Supervisors approved a Stone Bridge subdivision road modification, which this Planning Commission had addressed a month ago. So that went through on a consent agenda, and that's good to go now. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, any citizen comments? Does anyone in the audience want to speak to us about anything except what we've got on our agenda? Well, seeing none, we will move right on. Our first item is a public hearing, is conditional use permit -03-17 for Kelly and Robert Luckett for a cottage occupation for an in-home daycare. The property is located at 2011 Rebecca Drive, Winchester, Virginia, and is identified by property identification number 55G-5-1-19 in the Redbud Magisterial District. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the commission. This property is currently, as you pointed out, zoned RP, residential performance. It's also surrounded by residential performance zoned properties, and their land uses are residential and open space respectively. If I could turn your attention to your map on your left, there's the zoning on the property. Of course, the zoning map is outlined in black, sort of an aerial photograph of the property for this conditional use permit tonight. An in-home daycare facility is a permitted use in the RP zoning district with an approved conditional use permit. This in-home daycare facility will care for 12 children and will have 2 employees assigned with it. A drop-off and pickup of the children will be staggered throughout the morning and evening. That should prevent any traffic along the public road or the street that's at Rebecca Drive. This applicant also, just to add, currently is operating as a home occupation daycare, which under our ordinance you're allowed to have 5 children. They just want to increase it to 12. So it is an ongoing daycare. They got some more clients, and so they came for the conditional use permit. Should the Planning Commission find this use to be appropriate, staff would recommend the following conditions be assigned to this conditional use permit. Number 1, all review agency comments should be complied with at all times. Number 2, the hours of operation should be permitted from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Number 3, the applicant shall satisfy all the licensure requirements of the Virginia Department of Social Services in the County of Frederick. Number 4, 1 cottage occupation sign is permitted. Number 5, other than those children residing on the property, there should be no more than 12 children being cared for at any given time. Number 6, Out of those persons residing on the property, there shall be no more than 2 employees working with daycare at any time. And number 7, any expansion or change use will require a new conditional use permit. And for the record, the Luckett's are here to answer any questions you, Madam Chair, or the Planning Commission may have on this conditional use permit for in-care or in-house daycare facility. Thank you.
Yes. Questions of staff? Yes.
Mr. Sherman and I, we've traded some correspondence on this, and as you know, one of my principal concerns for this type of use in residential areas, while I think that this is a good location, that's where they should be located, is parking, access, and the like. You say the applicant is planning the drop-off and pickup to be staggered, and what if they could, you or they could elaborate more on that procedure?
Yeah, I'm going to let the applicant on that because it's in their business plan, if that's all right with you, Mr. Dillon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, Madam Chairman.
Good evening. And your names, please?
Sorry, I'm a little short.
Kelly and Robert Luckett.
Yes. And we are here to answer any questions you may have, and you're here to answer some questions that the Planning Commission has. And I think Mr. Dunlap should start.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to elaborate on your planned staggering of the drop-off and pickup of his children in the mornings and evenings.
Yes, sir. My current children are coming in between 6:15 and 8 o'clock in the morning, and they are picked up between 4 and 5:30 in the evening. We have adequate parking for the drop-offs. They come up and go to the side of the house.
Okay, do you have more than one coming at the same time?
Not generally.
It's for Gary's cough.
Thank you.
Any other questions of the applicant? Any other questions at all? Is this a public hearing? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this conditional use permit? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. So, any discussion, any thoughts?
Madam Chair, I move that the Planning Commission recommend approval of conditional use permit number 03-17, subject to conditions contained in the staff report.
Second.
Any other discussion? Mr. Marston, would you like to begin the vote?
Marston, yes.
Ambrosi, yes.
Manuel, yes.
Klein, yes.
Votes yes.
Bolden, yes. Kenny, no.
Triplett, no.
Dunlap, yes.
Moan, yes.
And the chair votes yes. This will go to the Board of Supervisors on April the 26th. Thank you. Our next item is also a public hearing. It's conditional use permit 04-17 for Tricia Shanholz for a cottage occupation for an in-home daycare. The property is located at 120 Refuge Church Road, Stevens City, and is identified with property identification number 93-8A7D in the Pekin Magisterial District. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you again, Madam Chair, Planning Commissioners. And this property is zoned RA right now, it's rural area. Its land use is residential. It's surrounded by RA properties, and the RA properties are residential and vacant. To your left is the map of the outline of the property where the Shanholz want to conduct this conditional use permit. And this is sort of an aerial photograph because it's 7 acres in size. Again, a in-home daycare facility is permitted in the RA zoning district with an approved conditional use permit. Though this proposed daycare facility will take place on a 7-acre parcel and will care for 12 children and have 1 employee. The drop-off and pick-up of the children, again, will be staggered in the morning and the evening to prevent any traffic along the Canterbury and Refuge Church Road. This proposed use, and it's in your application package, the Health Department had some comments about the septic system. This proposed use will will need to utilize a new septic system. The applicant has requested to delay the installment of the septic system for 1 year with the approval of the conditional use permit. The reason the applicant had requested that is, should the CUP be turned down at any given point, instead of spending the money for a new septic system, they'd ask the condition to be put on that. Furthermore, the condition of this conditional use permit is that the applicant will install an approved septic system within 1 year of an approved date of the conditional use permit. Should the conditional use permit will become void and will be revoked if the system is not installed within that year. When I mean with the planning commission and the board of supervisors, we have done that in the past with one application that I'm aware of. So as part of the condition, it's on the applicant to get it, that will also satisfy the reviewing comments that will be addressed as part of the conditional use package. Staff would note, however, the applicant has applied for a septic permit from the Frederick County Health Department and has engaged a septic company. I will just for the note for the record, Madam Chair, that on March 29th, the applicant actually picked up their permit for the septic system from the health department, approved it, and they do have a company. I'm going to let them explain it a little more. So that should be alleviated, but staff would suggest we do keep that condition there because it is part of the reviewing agency comments. With that, should the planning commission find this use to be appropriate, staff would recommend the following conditions be assigned to this conditional use permit. Number one, all review agency comments should be complied with at all times. Number two, the hours of operation shall be permitted from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Number three, the applicant shall satisfy the licensing requirements of the Virginia Department of Social Services and the County of Frederick. Number four, the applicant shall apply for and install an approved septic system within 1 year approval date of the conditional use permit. If the system is not installed within that 1 year, the conditional use permit will be deemed invalid. And of course, number five, just to repeat that, to cover that, the conditional use permit will be void and revoked if condition 4 is not implemented. Number six, the cottage occupation sign will be permitted. Number seven, other than the children residing on the property, there will be no more than 12 children being cared for at any given time. Number eight, other than the persons residing on the property, there will be no more than one employee working at daycare at any time. And number nine, any expansion or change of use will require a new conditional use permit. For the record, the Chandlers are here to answer any questions that any planning commissioners may have on this conditional use permit for an in-home daycare facility. And staff, of course, will try to answer all your questions. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Bowman.
Mr. Chair, and
Mr. Moen.
I have one question, and that is the health department comfortable with the 1 year delay? Did they take a look at that condition, and are they, given that the applicant is in the process, are they comfortable with the use operating?
They are until once it gets installed. And like I said, the applicant actually came in with the paperwork. If this should get approved by the Board of Supervisors, they already have a company online to start the work. So
Okay.
the health department is comfortable with it, Mr. Bowman.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Giron? Seeing none, would the applicants like to speak with us? Or would you like for us to ask you some questions? Come on. If you'll give us.
I'm Tricia Shanholtz. I appreciate you guys meeting with me tonight. Yes, I have already. I applied for my conditional use permit back in September, and it has taken me several months with the engineer to figure out exactly what septic and, different requirements that were needed. So we finally got to that point. And my goal initially is to get the septic in before school lets out, or, so I can get some of my school-age kids, that I've had in summers past, to come join me. So that's the intent. Now, of course, we've already talked to Tony Edmonds as far as, putting in the septic for us. So he actually has our plans now. But of course, everything's at Holt, depending on, how everything goes here today, so.
Questions? Yes, Mr. Oates.
Excuse me, I just had a question. The residents and the one employee, so that means there's more than one person to be with the 12 kids? You and another
Myself
employee?
and then somebody else, yeah.
2 adults with 12
Two
kids?
adults, yes. And of course, you know, it says 12 kids, but some of them will be in school, so they won't be there all day.
Right.
Others go to preschool, so it varies, you know, depending on what time of day and so forth. So the times that I would need that helper, you know, I have my sister-in-law who's also CPR certified and, you know, water safety certified. You know, we've done all of these things, you know, to help me during those designated times. So, yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mrs. Shanholz? Thank you.
No, thank you, guys.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak regarding this conditional use permit? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. And so, we have an opportunity here. Anybody have any thoughts or questions? Yes.
I'll just add, I guess this is like any other business coming to the county. If the neighbors don't object, I don't have any comments about it, and glad to see more business in the county. So
Anyone
apparently no
else?
neighbors are upset about this, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
So I have to question the upgrade to the septic system. Was there some reason that the septic system, was there a reason the health department was making you all upgrade the septic? Other than the age, maybe?
Yeah, the existing water flow, it's in your agenda, Mr. Molden. That was what they wanted to update. They recommended, because they're having more kids, that's what it was.
Are you satisfied?
Yeah.
Okay. No, anyone else like to comment or make a motion? How about that?
Still packing. Still packing? Rob? Okay. Beaman? Okay. Think about it. Madam Chair, I'd like to make the motion that we approve the conditional use permit number 04-17.
Second.
Shanholz.
It's been moved and seconded to recommend approval for this conditional use permit. Any other conversation about this? Okay, Mr. Moan.
Moan, yes.
Dunlap, yes.
Triplett, yes.
Kenny, no.
Molden, yes.
Votes yes.
Klein, yes.
Manuel, yes.
Ambrosi, yes.
Marston, yes.
And the chair votes yes. This also will go to the Board of Supervisors on the 26th. Thank you. Next item is our 2017-2018 Capital Improvement Plan. The CIP is a prioritized list of capital projects requested by various county departments and agencies. The plan is created as an informational component of the 2035 Comprehensive Plan. And Ms. Perkins is going to help us with this.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the commission. As you stated, this is the discussion for the 2017-2018 Capital Improvement Plan. Now, the CIP consists of a schedule for major capital expenditures for the county for the ensuing 5-year period. The CIP is a document that is updated annually with each cycle. Projects are removed from the plan as they are completed or as priorities change. Just a little side note for the 2017-2018 CIP. Following the completion of this actual document, staff will begin working with the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors on a revised process and format for the CIP. It's intended that that future document and process will be further linked to the budget document and process. So in the interim, it is important to update the CIP in its current form to ensure that the county has a current CIP that has current projects so to base rezonings on and link to the 2035 Comprehensive Plan. So the inclusion of the projects in the 2017-2018 CIP in no way indicate that Frederick County will be undertaking any of the projects. The CIP is strictly advisory, and it is intended to be used for capital facility planning, not for requests of funding. I would note that it is possible that particular projects may not be funded during the year that it's indicated on the CIP. The status of any project becomes increasingly uncertain the further out it is in terms of the 5-year periods. Now, this year's CIP continues to reinforce the connection between the plan, the 2035 comprehensive plan, and future rezoning applications. Now, I would note that this CIP includes a total of 75 projects from all the agencies. And I would note that in the CIP table itself, there are a couple different highlighted columns. First, we have the current year column, which is highlighted to emphasize projects that our funding has been budgeted for or will be requested within the budget cycle. And then the last column in that is for long-range projects outside of the 5-year window. Just to quickly go over also the maps that have been included in the CIP, you have the overall map that shows all of the projects. You have the Parks and Recreation map, the school map, as well as the future transportation projects map. Now, the CPPC endorsed this CIP at their March meeting. They did determine that the CIP is in conformance with the 2035 comprehensive plan, and the CPPC forwarded the CIP to the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors for discussion. So tonight, we are seeking comments from the Planning Commission on the CIP to forward to the board for their consideration when they discuss this. And with that, I would be glad to answer any questions.
All right. We are looking for questions or comments. Yes, Mr. Oates?
So just to be clear, this year, this is an advisory document that's more of the wish list like we've always had, but next year, we're going to have a CIP that's tied directly to the budget, and we'll be looking at something that's tied, that will be funded.
Right, this document is consistent with the past documents that we have had. It's an advisory document. At this time, we have still yet to come up with the actual format and the process for the next document, so we're going to have to work on that and how it's linked to the budget.
Okay, will we be looking at it prior to the supervisors creating a budget or after they create the budget?
I think the actual timeline is still in the works of whether it's going to come with it, after it, before it has, in the past, this document has come.
Okay, I was just curious if we were going to be driving the budget or if they were. Thanks.
To be determined.
Any other comments? I think really we reinforce this every time we look at it, but our responsibility is making sure what's being proposed is in the right spot in the county, basically.
Correct. That it is in compliance with the 2035 comprehensive plan, the project shown.
Okay, thank you.
Look at one thing, but yet,
Anybody
they don't
else?
even have that in there yet.
Well, it seems to me that there's no recommendations or comments except for Mr. Oates.
Troublemaker.
Morning, people.
What do you think?
Thank you. All done. Let's see here. We are at the end of our agenda, and the last words are that we do have a meeting on April the 19th, and so we look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks.
Greg.
Anybody else have anything for the cause?
Move for adjournment.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you.
He's in Florida.